You might be someone who, like me, who I'm a little bit ADD and I can get distracted very easily. So things like social media, email, it's really hard if those things keep popping up to stay concentrated on the things you're supposed to be working on, right?
All the time.
So a long time ago, I read a blog post from a guy that said it's really helpful when it comes to things like email to try to keep an empty inbox. Now, I'm breaking that rule right now in my demonstration for you, but I try my best to empty my inbox about 2 to 3 times a day. The reason being is we sometimes treat our email inbox like it's a to-do list, right?
Yes, and that's not healthy.
So the idea would be set yourself up with 2 to 3 times a day where you say, I'm going to empty that inbox so it doesn't become overwhelming for you. If you treat your email like a to-do list, it's actually defeating its purpose. And so one of the things you can do is kind of trick your brain, like I had to trick mine, to say that my inbox isn't going to be my enemy, and that I'm going to actually make it something that works for me. And so here's ways of doing it. My goal is when I read an email, like I was reading this one today from a customer of ours that didn't get to download her product the way that she'd hoped. And so I'm going to respond to her. Now, this is a great example of an email that could be from an upset parent or someone on church staff that's really upset at you. You look at that email, and because it's a burden to you or it maybe involves some conflict, you think, I'm going to put that one off. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
That's easy to do.
Oh, for sure.
And then you just keep waiting.
Wait, I haven't checked Twitter in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I wonder what's happening there.
Let's take my mind off of this negative thing, go to something positive, and then all of a sudden that email gets buried and we never get back to these people. And so for some time...
And then they're even more angry at you.
Then they're even more angry.
And you see them and you try to avoid them, like go around them.
Because you know that you owe them that email what they're upset about.
Yeah.
But if you can kind of set up rules for yourself, it helps you. So one of the things I do is I either respond to an email or delete an email or put it in a folder. That's like my 3 action steps. And you can see I got a million folders over here that are helpful. And the only reason an email goes into a folder is if I have to have it for the future. Otherwise, my goal is delete them, right? Respond them, delete them, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So if your email involves an action step like this one here, I need to respond to this lady. Let's say I'm going to copy it. Then I'm going to use something that's built into a lot of computers, and it's a reminder system. And I'm just going to set myself up with a reminder. Say, email her back. Now, what this does is this actually syncs with my phone. I can set a due date on that so that I'm reminded to get to this thing. But don't leave it in your email inbox. Turn it into an action step. How's that sound?
That sounds fantastic, and I completely agree. And what I found is if an email is a quick reply, I just try and get it done because I will forget.
Just get it back.
I'll get distracted. I'll go back later. If it's something that requires a longer reply, you've got to set some kind of reminder. You've got to set some sort of, whatever. And then you're right. Like if you have something that has information that's going to be useful for later, store that in a folder.
Store it.
Yep.
Yeah. And so the last step I would take is instead of just keeping things in a to-do list, because when your to-do list gets really, really long, then you don't even want to touch it. Because I'm a procrastinator, it's just like, oh man, I don't have time, and I'll just put it off, I'll put it off. The last thing you can do is either set yourself a due date on a to-do list or move your to-do list to your calendar and schedule things and say, this is when I'm going to accomplish this task. So you schedule for yourself, this is when this reminder is getting done. I can't get around it. This has to happen. And if for some reason you can't do it, then reschedule it. Yep. But it kind of like moves things into a place where you can accomplish things, and it helps you be more productive.
Well, I think also, in terms of being productive, email can become just as big a distraction, though, as social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I find myself sometimes just pulling my phone, let me see if I have any new emails, delete, check, whatever. That I think sometimes it can be wise, as you're doing your calendaring, to schedule times to just go through email. Say, I'm doing nothing else. I'm turning Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff off right now. I'm just going to plow through these emails as quick as I can, sort, delete, reply, all that stuff. And I think... I know for me, I've been struggling lately with having all those folders on my computer, but then not having access to them outside of my computer.
So?
And for me, the most productive tools that I have are ones that sync naturally and easily. And one of my favorites is Evernote, which is a free service online. They have clients for Mac, PC, iPhone, Android, iPad, all of that stuff. It allows you to store pictures, allows you to store text, allows you to store audio files. And I use it all the time for projects I'm working on to store information. And in fact, I've been trying to migrate some of my email folder data over into Evernote. Because that way, I have it with me at all times. If I need to find something, I just go into Evernote, search it, and there it is. And I know that when I save something in my phone, it syncs immediately right to the cloud, and then syncs back down to my computer, syncs to my iPad, syncs just across the board.
Yeah.
And that I have that information with me. The other thing it does that I love, and this isn't I don't work for them, but I just love using it, is that when you take a picture of something and store it in Evernote, it uses what's called, it's OCR, which is optical character recognition. And what that does is that it it will look through your picture and it will find words so that so if you take a picture of someone hands you a business card, like let's say like your house flooded and someone walks like, oh, that's terrible, here's a plumber I know.
Yeah.
Instead of putting that business card in your pocket, take a picture of it, save it in Evernote. Evernote will save all that information. You're like, oh, I need to find that information. That guy's name was Bill something.
Yeah, I think it was Bob.
You search Bob,
yeah.
and it'll find that picture, and it knows that it says Bob on it, and
Very
it'll bring
cool.
up that picture of that card right away. So,
very helpful. Very
super
helpful. So there's all sorts of different software tools that you can use. The main thing is just trying to learn you and learn how you work best, and also identify the obstacles that keep you from being productive.